Welcome to the AI Applied Podcast. I'm your host, Connor Grennan.
And I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Every week, we break down the latest in AI news, tools, interviews, and discuss how to apply AI into your career and life.
Jaden, you must have seen this. I know we're all obsessed with Elon Musk, love him or hate him. He has announced Grok. Notice that he dropped it, by the way, the day before Dev Day, of course, because he's Elon Musk. But Grok is X's answer to the LLM. It is Elon Musk's self-professed GPT killer. I would say just slow down there, buddy. But Grok is going to be it's going to feel a little different. It's different kind of capabilities, but let's just start there, man. Like, you saw this. What was your initial reaction?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm always a big fan of more players in the market. So I know, some people, love him or hate him. Some people don't like Elon Musk. Some people like him. But like, in my opinion, regardless, like, please put more projects in the market from high profile people. And I mean, there's going to be, I've seen so much, I'll be honest. I've seen so much criticism of the project on X, right? And, I mean, even in the past, something about Elon Musk, people get triggered about. I remember talking about him on my podcast a number of months ago, and someone complained that he's barely AI adjacent. Why do I even bring him up? And I'm like, whatever. But like, I think he did a really solid job. So two things I'm going to give him. I'll give him some credit at the beginning. Credit number one is getting XAI put together. He got rock star AI engineers in there. And I think it's because, he did it for OpenAI as well. He's able to poach people from the top companies that wouldn't go work anywhere else or work for anyone else. He was able to pull them in. And I think that's why it's an important mix, getting Elon to get into the AI space. So he's actually going to be able to pull something off because he can get some really solid talent. The second thing I want to give the team credit for, of course, not Elon, but the team, is they cranked this model out in 2 months. Okay. Like so people are like, oh, they're behind, they're trying to catch up. It's like, yeah, okay. They just launched like a ChatGPT competitor. Like, I don't know how competitive it is or amazing it is. It works, but they did it in 2 months. Okay. Like, even Anthropic, who's like the number 2, has been going for like 5 years. So, or I don't know, a number of years. So I think, I got to give them some credit there.
Yeah, no question, right? I mean, again, this is one of these things where we've talked about this before. People are like, oh, Elon's so stupid. No, he's not, right? I mean, like, you don't have to like him, but he does generally know what he's doing, I believe, even though I have very strong feelings about Elon Musk personally. But you're absolutely right. They cranked out something that is, based on some of these objective measures, somewhere between ChatGPT 3 and 3.5. That's a pretty great starting point, but they're not selling it on that, are they, Jaden? No, they're selling it on things like its personality. Like, the first thing he says, oh, it can be a little snarky. And people who love Elon are like high-fiving, right? Like, yeah, like, maybe there's no filter on that, all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of like the big marketing wrapper. It's like, this is going to be Elon being Elon, and you can join in with him too, right? So there's that vibe to it, but really interesting. And this is the part that I am trying to figure out, whether this is going to be the game changer or not around this. So first of all, just know that it's, available. I think it's like $16 a month. It's like the premium user or whatever, all that kind of stuff. But the big question, Jaden, I want your take on too, is what people are saying about this. If it is going to be the big game changer, it's going to be pulling from X. And so what I hear all the time, and maybe you do too, from people, especially people younger than me, right, are like, yeah, but Twitter or X is just like an ugly place. It's just people arguing. It's really ugly. Like, ugly people are on there saying ugly things. You guys saying that, I am with you. I'm with you 100%. However, let me give one other aspect to this, which is that Twitter and X, it is a big place, right? It's like saying the media is terrible. Yeah, media is a lot of different things. When I'm on X, and I'm on X a lot, I'm drawing news from X. I don't see any of the ugliness because the algorithm knows that I have no time for that. So all my up to the minute stuff, if I need something up to the minute, I go to one place, and that place is X. And that is what they're selling it on. They're selling on, like, if you need something, Jaden, like when I was trying to figure out how to like do a GPT, there was nowhere to go, right? There's nowhere to look. There's no user manual. There's nobody I can ask, nothing. There's literally nothing that exists, because you and I are on the bleeding edge of this. Where do I go? I go to X. And if that's like their data source, I don't know, there's something to that, right?
No, yeah, Grok will be big. I'll put a flag in it right now. It's going to do what no one else can do, and I'll tell you why. Grok will win. And it's kind of interesting because I have to think about this. Of course, I have my platform AI box where I can link together multiple AI models. And I'm always like looking at the field and being like, oh my gosh, like because this is what I don't want to happen. My personal like bias in the market and industry is I don't want OpenAI to kill everybody, because then they probably could do something similar to my business. My business thrives and is successful if there's a lot of players that are successful. So I'm always evaluating where the market is at in this. And I also think generally, like for not having monopolies and whatnot, like that's what everyone should be cheering for. And so that's kind of what I want to enable, is not having an AI monopoly, but having, the power to the people and to a lot of different companies. In any case, this is the reason that I think Grok will be incredibly successful. First off, at the beginning of the year, Elon Musk cut off OpenAI's access to X. He's like, when I bought it, I found out they had the API to everything, every live tweet. He's like, I shut that down. Now, obviously he's got his own personal gripes with OpenAI, so that's probably a big part of why he did that. But I think that is really key, because if he shut them down, he's not giving anyone this access. He saw how valuable it is, and they're building a whole model off of this. So they're not going to give anyone else Twitter and X's like content. And like you mentioned, it's up to the minute. And they said with the Grok model that it's going to be a real-time model, meaning if you tweet something, it's instantly included in the model so people can see it live. And there's like, OpenAI, when they did their big dev day, I'm blown away, floored, all the applause for all the incredible stuff they did. Okay, but the thing that I was like, ooh, they got to run for their money, is their big like awesome announcement is its data is up to date as of April of this year. I'm like, okay, but like stuff happens every day that's crazy. And then stuff happened in the last months that were crazy. None of that is included in it. Grok is going to have everything to the minute live. And so there's going to be use cases and tools where you have to use Grok. You can't use anything else because you need up to the minute live. Like before a newspaper publishes something, it's on X. Like that's where the news breaks. It breaks on X and they write about it. And then it goes to the next stage of everyone distributes it on everything. So that's where Grok is going to win. And I don't think anyone will be able to touch them on any platform. News does not break on Instagram. Instagram's cool. News doesn't break on LinkedIn. News breaks on X.
Yeah. Okay. So I love that case, and you're already getting me to rethink it, because again, when I need up to the minute stuff, and the stuff that you and I do in AI, again, there's no news on it. You know what I mean? Like maybe The Verge will write about it like the next day or something like that. But when something comes up, but especially how to use something, not just about this thing exists, but how to actually use it, there is no source for it. That's the world that we live in. That's why we have AI applied. We're trying to show you guys like right away, how do you use it? What do you do? How does this apply to your life? And with Twitter or X, I go into the search bar and I search for hashtag GPT. And sometimes it'll come up with, here's how you use it from somebody. And I'm just praying that got enough likes to pop up on my algorithm. And sometimes it's like a Korean boy band, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah.
So that's my other issue with it. But even if this is just a really fancy search engine for Twitter and that it's live, even that alone will be phenomenal. So maybe in the next GPT, they'll come up with something and sort of figure that one out. What do you think?
Two interesting things that they're also going to be doing that I think will be big is they're going to embed Grok directly into the X app. So like right in the middle of the X app, there's going to be a button you click that is the chat bot that you can ask any questions live. So like you said, I've heard from a number of developers saying that they've recently rolled out some like insane search indexing tools for X that make it like 1,000 times better. That's all going to be plugged into this as well. So anything that's happening, and the search will be better. It'll probably weed out a lot of the boy band stuff if that's not what your intent is of the search there. But yeah, I think it's going to be very big. And X is one of those few platforms. There's only a handful of platforms where they can roll out a tool, build it as a feature in, and it's going to go to hundreds of millions of people that are actively using it. So I think it's going to get the adoption and usage because of that. Now, I have heard a lot of people say like, oh, I don't know, they don't like the tone of it or the whatever. So there'll be people, but like at the end of the day, it's the only place you can get the an AI model with the up to the minute news. And so I think it's love it or hate it, people are going to be forced to use it because it's the only place that you can access the data set. And that's the name of the game with AI, is it's whoever has the data sets are gold, and you'll be able to build the businesses on top of it. I predict there's going to be thousands more big companies. We're going to see like Allstate Insurance and like random other big companies that have big data sets building tools where they'll have something special. They're going to guard it from, you know, OpenAI and everyone else. They'll hold it back and they'll build their own little LLM, and people will integrate with it for whatever reason. But that's going to be the way that like data is sold almost without having to sell the data, because traditionally when you sold data, the data's gone once it's sold, right? But now they can guard that data and monetize it. And I think it's a new data monetization method, and it'll be very interesting. But I think Grok will kill it because of that.
Yeah, I guess that's where I'm so curious to see that, because if LLMs are getting easier and easier to build, especially at a level of like a 3.5 or something like that of GPT, then all you have to do is have the data set, build this thing on top of it, and then places like OpenAI really have to sort of move the needle to get way ahead to sort of build that real moat that they need, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. One last thing about Grok is that Elon said it will run locally on all Teslas. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
going to be like the in Tesla. So by rolling out to everyone that has a Tesla and rolling it out to everyone that has a Twitter account, like it's going to get mass adoption. It's going to be like the assistant, which kind of makes sense, right? These LLMs would be great assistants. The Google Assistant and Siri is kind of garbage compared to what these LLMs can do. So it makes a lot of sense for it to be like the in-car assistant on a Tesla. But what I thought was impressive is that it's going to be running locally on the Teslas, using the Tesla's own hardware to run the model. So I think that's impressive, and I guess just a testament to Tesla's, like the computer system and the AI system they have in place already for all their self-driving stuff. That'll be cool. They can add this on top.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be super fast if it's local too and everything like that. And it just reminds me, and just to touch on this other story as well, with, YouTube is also now building in all these new things for creators. And I think right now YouTube is trying to build, again, not that YouTube needs a moat necessarily, but all these other add-ons, right? These kind of like barnacles, these, AI startups who are like, oh, I'm going to, do a Google extension. This is what I use, right? Like a Chrome extension to transcribe everything from YouTube. And so in the same way that Twitter's like, hey man, just stay here. We got everything you need right here. YouTube is now doing that as well. They're like, look, we're YouTube, man. So they've built out these things, Jaden. I don't know if you saw this, like where it's, first of all, you're going to be able to summarize content. You're going to be able to learn from it. You're going to be able to ask questions of the video. It's going to be phenomenal because YouTube is a phenomenal learning platform. It's also going to be for the creator. It's going to compile comments into themes and things like that. But I think that YouTube and this is our theme with AI applied too, right? It's, you do not have to go out and find 50 million tools. What you have to do is understand how AI works in the tools that you already love and use. You don't need a whole new video platform. YouTube is going to do that for you. Wait 10 minutes. Well, here we are. We waited 10 minutes and it already has all these new things around for creators and also for viewers and for learners and everything else. And I think Grok with Twitter is a similar sort of system where it's already building things into the places where you are already visiting.
Yeah, I think what you said there, Connor, though, is really important. And I just want to emphasize it. When you're looking at applying AI into everything that you're doing, you don't have to know every tool that exists in the world. Know the capabilities of AI. And I think that's what we try to keep you up to date on, what it's capable of and what's happening in that regard. Because if you know what it's capable of, then you'll understand how to use it when it gets integrated into the tools that you already use, and you'll be able to automate your workflows, use them faster, and add a couple things in if you need them. But you understanding what it's currently capable of, I think, makes a huge difference. Hey, listen, thank you so much for tuning in to the AI Applied podcast today. It's been awesome having you on the journey with us as we discuss everything that's been happening. Make sure to rate us wherever you get your podcasts, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.